how near or how no matter how near or how far you are invited to a platform where we uplift, encourage, and motivate you to be exactly who you are. Soul ties, soul tribe, solutions, and soul infusions. Come join us as we overstand and undo the divinities that have been placed amongst us on this very land. So what can you expect? Crown checks, temperature checks, microphone checks. Wait till you see what's next. Welcome, soul to
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? We made it. We made it to Friday, like June, 9th today? This year is going by so quick already. We're already in the middle of the year. Can you believe that? We're already in the middle of the year, which is a blessed thing that we've all made it to be here today. I have a very special guest for you. This is our 11th show. That means 2 ones, and one is one of my favorite numbers. Does anybody know what 1 means in numerology? Well, tonight we have, like I said, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, my little sister, Valerie. Can we bring Valerie on? Hi, sister. Thank you for being here. I always get like shell shock when I have my personal people on, people that I know. How was your day?
I'm just happy it's Friday, Venus Day. I made
Venus
it.
Day. What's Venus Day?
Venus Day, the planet of love. So in Latin, Viernes represents Venus. So that is today.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
another word for
Fridays are
Yes.
always a day of love.
Yes, you should be expressing love, doing something you love. Friday is Venus Day. Saturday is Saturn Day. Sunday is Sun, Soul Day. Monday, Lunes, Moon Day. Tuesday is Mars Day. Wednesday is Mercury Day. And Thursday is Jupiter Day. There is a planet for every day of the week.
Oh. So what's the significance of Saturday for Saturn Day? Are you supposed to
A day to learn a lesson, to maybe review something you've learned. A review day. Just kind of like Saturn return. Sunday. So depending on how you look at it, Sunday, I believe, is a day of rest, a day to bask in the sun because it's soul, it's sun. Take it easy. But yeah, or grow something. Grow something because the sun grows things. So yes, that too.
Right. So you should maybe be working in the garden, doing something that feels soulful and good to your soul, like
Definitely,
the sun does.
Yes, definitely being outside, getting like rooted in the ground. Be outside. Yes, Sunday is a good day for that. I've never told you this.
Of course you have, but we're on a podcast, so I'm telling everybody else.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Today is the day of love. So I'm going to start off by telling you that I love you, sister.
I love you more.
Thank you. Do you want to tell anybody our story?
You want me to tell our story?
Sure.
You tell it, older sister.
No, you tell it, little sister.
Okay. So my version, because I feel like there's 2 sides to every story. Should I start when I was 19 or all my life?
Sure, all your life.
Okay, so all my life, for the most part, I've known I had an older sister, longing for an older sister, but I didn't get to meet her until I was like 20 years old. So one day on Facebook, mind you, I've always known about her. I see my last name in my inbox, and I'm like, who is this person and why do they have my last name? Why are they greeting me hello? I was so confused. And then I look and I look and I look and I'm like, oh my God, it's her. I never knew you knew who I was, even though I'd heard various stories about you and me having this sister in magical La La Land or whatever. But at that very moment, I was like, oh my God, she's a real person. She's real. And you hit me up on Facebook, asked me if I'm still in Sacramento. I was. And yeah, that's my version.
I have the same version. I've always had a picture of you and my other siblings from our father.
I did not.
Huh?
I did not have a picture of you.
Oh, our father sent me a picture of you guys, all of you guys, like at a park or something. I still have that picture. So I always knew about my siblings. But ironically, when I moved to Cal, you were already gone to college. I believe that's how that happened.
I left for college in fall 2008.
Oh, okay, now you were still home. I don't know what was adults' problems. Never mind. But let's get into it. My personal astrologer. Tell me all the good things that we should know about astrology. Like for instance, I'm birth charts. What is birth charts all about? Because I'm so confused.
You're still confused, sis?
Yeah. I mean, I'm confused for the sake of being confused for the show.
Okay. Everybody needs to understand. I'm going to say understand because it's within. I believe
like
words are spells. Words are spells. I'm not going to say understand because that's beneath us. We're going to understand with our soul. This is a solution. So we need to understand in our soul. So let's start there. Okay. Understand that you are not just your zodiac sign that you've been told your whole life. It's Gemini season. So let's know.
I'm not just a furious Scorpio.
It's Gemini season, so we're gonna focus on me, Gemini, the gem. I am more than just a Gemini. Okay, the sun is currently in Gemini. Go Gem.
That's why
you call you there. I'm sorry.
Born when the sun was near what?
Yeah. So people ask each other, "What's your zodiac sign?" But what they're really saying is, what is your sun sign? Okay, so the sun was in Gemini. Sun moves every 30 days. So that's why every 30 days there's a different zodiac. Okay, give or take. I also want to say that what everybody else needs to know is we are more than just our sun sign. We have the sun. We have the moon.
Just the Gemini. Okay. All right.
We have the sun, we have the moon, we have Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. I know I didn't say that in order, my bad. Pluto. We have all these planets, even asteroids in our birth chart. Asteroids? Do I need to show them what a birth chart looks like?
Is it like taking a snapshot of the sky, the time and day you were born?
Yes. The exact time you were born is a screenshot of the sky, essentially. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you have every planet in your birth chart, and not all your planets are going to be, not all your planets are going to be in the same zodiac sign as you know it. You have your sun sign. Okay. So my sun sign is in Gem, but I have moon in Cancer. I have my Mars in Pisces, Mercury in Taurus. Okay, I have all these different planets in different signs. Now, some planets can be in multiple signs. We call that a stellium. I have Jupiter, my moon, asteroid called Chiron, all in the sign of Cancer. So I have what we call a stellium in Cancer, which means I have Cancer properties all over me. When people meet me and they're like, "You're a gem?" I didn't get gem vibes from you. And I was like, because I have that stellium in Cancer with 3 other things in it. And the moon is very powerful. So we are more than just our zodiac, our sun sign as we know it. I think that's the most important thing people need to know about astrology.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm not just a furious Scorpio and you're not just a twin Gemini.
Correct.
Okay, so what would be the next important thing to know in your chart?
The time you were born, which can be found on your birth certificate most times. There's some people that if they were born maybe older, like maybe in the 60s or above, not in California or some in other states like southern states, might not always have a birth time on their birth certificate.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you can get a little creative, do your research, and there are people that are very intuitive who can estimate your birth time. There was
Oh.
one time where I was confused between my rising signs. Outside of the planets, you have a rising sign of how you appear to other people. Okay. So my rising sign is Pisces. I don't really act like a gem. I act like a Pisces,
You
sleepy,
do.
tired, beautiful goddess, love of water. That's how I act. That's how people view me as, always tired when they approach me because I'm a Pisces rising. But for a moment, I wasn't sure if I was a Pisces rising or an Aquarius rising. But I kind of do give off both the properties based off of my time of birth and it just being so close in between those two signs. We call that a cusp.
I get it. I feel like you are more on the Pisces side than the Gem side. I've always gotten Pisces vibes from you. You act a lot like your niece. She's a Pisces.
I also
Okay.
have a lot of water in my birth chart.
Would you say water?
I have a lot of water in my birth chart. I don't have a lot of air. My Gemini sun.
What does that mean, sister? Okay, let's take a step back because I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, so we have a sun sign, but also in our birth chart, which is a caption, like you're taking a picture of the sky the moment you were born. Within this, it shows the placements of the planets.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, where they are the sky at the time of your birth.
Okay. Why does that matter though? Why does it matter the placement of I understand the sun, but why does it matter about these other placements?
These other planets?
Yes.
Because they represent different things and they can tell us about who we are. So our sun sign represents our core personality. Okay, our ego. Okay, who we are destined to be. Okay, whereas the moon is our inner thoughts and feelings. It's sometimes the things we keep hidden. It's what we really desire to be. Okay. Our Mercury is how we communicate. Okay.
Okay.
We can talk about Mercury retrograde later. I know everybody wants to know. But Mercury is communication, how we speak to each other. It's also how we move, how we travel a little bit. Communication can rule different things. But overall, it's how we communicate. I have a Mercury in Taurus. Taurus is very stubborn and slow.
Oh, okay. So I see the correlation. So because your Mercury is in Taurus at the time of your birth, that you take on the characteristics of the Taurus when it comes to communication.
Exactly. So the way I communicate.
House of love.
Huh? You want to skip to love? Mercury's important. Hold on. We got to stop at Mercury real quick because how we communicate rules the world. Okay. That's why everybody would be losing their mind during Mercury retrograde. My Mercury is in Taurus, which is slow and kind of stubborn. Kind of. I struggle with my communication.
What's my Mercury?
I don't know. I struggle with getting my words out. I can be very passive aggressive. Okay. So the way I communicate is very Taurus-like.
Right.
Venus is the planet of love and relationships and what we value. If you follow me, I was going to say,
yeah, I get it now. Okay, go ahead.
On my Instagram, Cosmically Chantel, I've displayed my 6 major planets and symbols in my chart, so you can kind of understand how different my planets represents the zodiacs. But just wanted to put that out there. What was your question, sister?
I don't remember.
Okay. Venus. It's more than just a planet of love It's also the things that we value. So if I'm looking at somebody's birth chart and I'm looking at their Venus, not only do I see how they love and their love language, I can determine also what they value in terms of a job too. Venus rules that energy as well.
Interesting.
Mars is motivation and drive. It's how we get things done. Okay. Are people stubborn in the way they get things done? Are they passionate about the things they've done? Are they two-sided? Like they could do this or that way? You know, do they care about the balance? You know, there's different ways we get things done based off our Mars sign.
Right.
If you have a sleepy Mars, like mine is in Pisces, it takes me a while to get things done. If I'm not passionate about it and if it's not pretty, I'm not going to be motivated to do it. Okay.
Right.
Jupiter is our wisdom and our good fortune. I call it the lucky planet. So it's like if you want to know how you can level up in your life, let's look at Jupiter and see where that is in your chart.
Look at my Jupiter. Okay.
Yes. Saturn is your work, it's your career, it's your karma. Okay. We can talk about Mercury retrogrades, but when Saturn returns in your chart, not a retrograde, but returns in your chart, that's like your year crisis. It comes around in your chart every 28 to 30 years. So you have your first little midlife crisis when you're around 30. Another one is at 60. And maybe if you're lucky, you get to that 90. But Saturn is a big deal in your chart because it shows you where you're going to learn your lessons in life.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have Uranus. It's funny how that planet is just naturally upside down because with Uranus, it's about your originality. Things can go either way. It's how unique we are. It shows basically how unique we are. It's a complicated planet because it's upside down. So it could go this way or it could go that way. You would think it would be ruled by Gemini, but it's not. That's a funny planet. And then we have Neptune, one of my favorites, because it rules our dreams and subconscious. And I'm a Pisces rising, and I love everything to do with sleep. So I love my dreams when I get them. I love learning about my subconscious. You know, so to me, Neptune's a cool planet. Let's go to Dreamland. Let's go to Neptune. And then you have Pluto for the Scorpios. Okay. Pluto, complicated Pluto. Pluto is about beginnings, endings, and transformation. I'm not too fond of Pluto because it's always messing things up. They say Saturn messes things up because it's like learning a lesson. But Pluto shakes things up for real, for real.
Sounds like my personality.
I like to be on a straight and narrow path, but Pluto's like, nah, we're not doing that today. So all these planets in your chart show how you are past your core and personality, past your ego. It's all these elements.
Okay. Scary that we're so complex.
It gets deep.
And that was not like, I'm not just a Scorpio. You're not just a Gemini. Okay, let's get into it though.
Okay.
You have my birth chart up?
You want me to pull it up to share?
Well, no, not pull it up. Let's not show it to others. But I want you to be able to
talk about it.
Yeah, because I want to know where my Jupiter is.
Okay.
I want to know how I communicate and how I can make my communication better. And you guys know that she does offer services, so please go to her Facebook page and show her some love at Cosmetically Chantel.
Cosmically.
Oh shit. Cosmically Chantel. Cosmically.
How about those cosmos? You want me to spell it?
No, you already got it up on the screen.
Perfection. Okay. I'm pulling you up, sister. All right.
Okay. Where is it? Why is my communication all off?
Okay, you want to talk about communication because it's in Scorpio.
Okay. Hold on, my Mars is in Scorpio?
Mercury is in Scorpio.
On my Mercury, so I'm stubborn.
Here's the funny thing about what I love about your Mercury, though. Even though it's in crazy Scorpio, it's in the 11th house. I got to talk about the houses and what those are, because your houses are isn't your Mercury's in the 11th house, right? And that's about your community, reaching your community. And what are we doing right now? Who are we talking to?
The Soulutionary podcast.
Yeah. My friend
So
is
this is what I've been meant to do. I can't hear anything.
Absolutely. Specifically talking to your community, okay?
Oh.
And you're meant to do it multiple ways because Scorpio tries all the things, all the ways.
That's good to know. So again, I've been on this thing about living in my purpose, and you just confirmed that I'm living in my purpose.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So your
more.
Mercury is next to that planet Uranus that can go all kinds of different ways, and with your sun. So you have a stellium of your own in Scorpio. You are a super Scorpio.
That's why I feel so Scorpion. Like, my executive producer says I'm crazy.
You're a Scorpio to the fullest. So yes, you're meant to be talking to your community in multiple ways. Okay?
Hey, Tyrone. Tyrone.
Tyrone's my trainer.
Hey, Tyrone.
He says, hey.
Tyrone.
We got to shout him out.
Video, Tyrone. Never mind. Okay, go ahead.
So I say all that to say, yes, part of your purpose is to be communicating because you have the 3 entities in Scorpio in your 11th house, specifically communicating to your community because of where it's located in your chart. I want to share my screen so I can show what a birth chart looks like.
As long as it's not mine. We don't need nobody doing no head.
Part of the day.
Do you know how to share your screen?
There's a button here that says share your screen. And I'm going to click this because that's the screen I want to share. Let's see.
Where are they?
Okay. Do you see this? Can you see?
Hold on. We're about to give us 2 seconds.
Okay. All right. And can you see my arrow?
Yes.
Yes, you can see me move this arrow?
Yep.
Okay, perfection. So let me go over what these houses mean. So this is the birth chart. This is the chart of the day. So the person who's born right now at this very moment, this is what the chart would look like. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So you see how there's these numbers here, 1 through 12 in the middle?
Yeah.
So this triangle looking thing, this is the first house. And this represents the self. This is your ascending, aka rising sign. Okay? So I would say this person has Jupiter in Aries in the first house. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Second house represents your values and possessions. This can also be like if I want to see where someone should be working, what kind of field, I'll look in here. I'll also look at their Venus sign, but I'll look in this house right here. Okay, this is how we make our money. Again, the things we value, how we earn money.
Mm-hmm.
Third house represents communication, siblings, and short journeys. Okay, so this third house is in Gemini. Fourth house, family, home, and your roots, things you believe in. So that's in Cancer. This fourth house here is in Cancer. Okay,
right,
I see here represents someone's childhood, how they grew up. Fifth house is in Leo.
Well, I see that your marker is like always one. Okay, I get it. Go ahead.
Fifth house is in Leo here. The fifth house. What?
Nothing. I get it.
Okay. Fifth house represents your family. Sorry, your creativity, joy, and pleasure. Now, I want to emphasize the fifth house because when I look at synastry charts, that's when I put 2 people's birth charts together to see how compatible they are. I look to see if they have planets together in their fifth house because that's a good house for dating. Like how much fun you can have with a person.
Okay. Can you only do that with another person? You can't do that like generalized. Like this person would be.
Like, can I pull up 2 charts and show you? What are you asking?
Well, I'm asking because I'm a Scorpio or whatever. What is my fifth house, sister?
Your fifth house is it's right on the cusp of Taurus. So if somebody has their sun, moon, or rising in your 5th house, I'd be like, oh, you're going to have a ton of fun with that person. It might take a while to get it activated because, Taurus is very slow and stubborn moving, but generally you would have fun with a Taurus person.
So would that be Taurus? That's somebody that has their 5th house in Taurus, or a sun?
If they have planets in your 5th house.
Okay.
Or if you guys both have planets in each other's 5th house.
Like, so backwards, like if they were.
It can go both ways. It depends because every chart is different. Let me get through these houses though real quick.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
So 6th house here is in Virgo. 6th house represents service and health. It also represents your routines, how you get things done. Okay. The 7th house is partnerships here in Libra. The 7th house, when it comes to, it can be any type of relationship. It could be a business relationship, but usually it's romantic relationships. So if somebody has sun, moon, rising, Mercury, any personal type of planet in the 7th house, that's definitely a good indicator of a good relationship potentially. Okay. 7th house. It's also the opposite of your rising. So when they say opposites attract, for me, a Pisces rising is going to be attracted naturally to a Virgo rising, just based off of my chart.
Where
Not
they
necessarily, let me say that. I'm not going to necessarily be attracted to a Virgo rising, just Virgo energy. So somebody who has a strong Virgo sun, moon, rising, any personal planets in my 7th house is Virgo. That's what I'm just naturally going to be attracted to. So that's that 7th house energy. This 8th house here is in Scorpio. 8th house represents assets, inheritances, and deaths because it's ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio also rules over deaths and rebirths. So that's why that's what that 8th house represents. The 9th house represents higher learning and education. Here in this chart, this 9th house is in Sagittarius. The 10th house is work, career, and status, also known as your midhaven. Okay, so that is in Capricorn in this chart. The 11th house is friends, hopes, wishes, and dreams. This is in Aquarius. The 11th house also represents the community. Remember how I was telling you have your Mercury in the 11th house?
Right.
So this is the 11th house is your community. It's your friends. Okay. And then the 12th house. This house is really tricky and complicated. It's secrets, sorrows, beginnings, and endings. So kind of similar to the 8th house with the deaths and rebirths. The 12th house are things we keep hidden, really emphasizing secrets. So this person, they have their moon in the 12th house and the Venus in the 12th house. This person doesn't show any emotions at all. They keep that hidden, buried. This person is emotionally unavailable.
Oh, that's good to know. Oh, that would be really good to know getting into a situationship. Huh?
Yes, absolutely. Because you have this moon and Venus is conjunct. This person is really not saying nothing. They might say something because the moon and Venus is in Aries, and Aries is really flirty and with it, like just out there. But because it's hidden in their 12th house, that 12th house energy is strong.
Whoa. Okay, let's get back to some practical stuff because I want to know.
Okay. Should I stop sharing my screen?
You don't have to if you don't want to, but you can if you want.
Can you still see me? Okay,
yes.
You can still see me. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're both up there. Okay, so I just want to learn all about myself because that's that Scorpio ego. Where is my 12th house at, sister?
Your 12th house also begins in Scorpio.
What does that mean?
Let's see. So 12th house Scorpio, it's kind of a contradiction because typically that means Scorpio is so emotional. So, and it holds water, it holds emotion, it holds energy. So naturally a Scorpio wants to get that energy out, but it's hard because it's in the 12th house. If that makes sense. It's really hard for you to get those emotions out properly. It's like you hold it in, you hold it in. You have your Neptune there, but 2 in your 12th house.
What does that mean?
Do you feel like you remember your dreams?
I remember sometimes. I have a lot of deja vu.
See, when you speak of deja vu, that makes me go look at Pisces. Because that's very Pisces.
I have a lot of that. Like, did I dream about this? Why? Yeah. Well, what does it say about my Pisces placement? What house is that in?
Okay, so let me go back and explain something too. So the way we're looking at this chart is in something called Placidus.
Okay.
And the way the houses are like all in the middle of the signs, it gets very specific. But if I were to look at it in whole signs, let me go back. Let's see here. Stop sharing my screen for a second. I want to make this make sense. Because basically, if I were to change your chart just a little bit, it would your 12th house would be in a whole nother sign. And I want to show you what that looks like. Give me just a moment.
It's all you, baby. It's all you. It's all you. It's all you.
And it makes it, for people who are learning to read charts, it makes it a little bit easier to read too.
Oh, what are you looking up, sister?
I'm changing the chart. I'm not pulling up your chart, but I'm gonna show you what the chart of the day when it's in whole signs. So I can explain to you what this looks like a little bit.
Oh, better. Like when it's not split? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So I'm just trying to change my settings a little bit.
Because if it's split, does that mean that you take characteristics of both, or you have to do the degrees? Like your 33% is 66. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So that makes it kind of more complex to kind of read. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I'm showing you an easier way how to read the chart.
Okay.
But
well, show us.
It's not letting me do it for the chart of the day.
While you're looking at that, I wanted to know, what does the number 1 mean? Because 1 is my favorite number. So in numerology, what does that mean?
1 is a new beginning.
What about my other favorite number, 7?
7 is a lucky number. 7. You know, I've been looking between the number 7 and the number 9 because to me they meant very similar things. And 7 is completion, but so is 9. 7 days of the week is a powerful number. But it's a lucky number. I associate Jupiter with
all right. So 7 and 9 are powerful numbers, but why?
Because they represent completion. And right before completion is a new beginning.
Okay.
Okay, so I am not able to show us the chart of the day in the whole signs like I wanted to. So I pulled up a celebrities chart and I will show you what the whole signs look like based on the celebrities chart, okay? Because remember I was telling you, you were right on the cusp. So this is what it looks like when it's in whole signs. Does you see how it's easier to read? This whole house is in Aries. This whole house is in Aries. Okay?
Right.
So it's a lot easier to read this way. So with me, when I look at your birth chart, yes, your 12th house is in Scorpio. But if I were to look at it in whole signs, it would change completely into Sagittarius.
Oh.
So it's like right on the cusp. So it's kind of hard to tell. I would really have to look and do a deeper dive. And it's kind of hard to do that right on the spot.
It's nice that you haven't like logged everything. So when I call, you'll be like, oh, the prescription is.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, this is why you're having this problem because you didn't do this. You need to start keeping a log of that. Because you're a practitioner.
When I do a reading with you, because you have a pretty general understanding of what this all means, I can show you your actual chart. But for someone who's still like brand new to learning, I'll probably pull it up in whole signs, and I probably should have pulled it up in whole signs before we got started, just because it's a lot easier to understand. But the way I read birth charts from scratch is more authentic and more precise.
Right, which makes sense.
Whereas this is kind of
just in general where our certain areas are. So first, we know our sun sign. Second, we know all the placements or the houses for different things like our career, our health, our finance, our education, our development, our ego, right? Is the ego in there?
Sun is definitely our ego.
Oh, our sun is our ego. What's the moon? I always hear people
the moon. What is our feelings? It's stuff we keep hidden too.
Is that 12? Is that the 12th house?
The moon is actually rules over the 4th house. Naturally in Cancer. Cancer rules over the moon. But there's a lot of similarities in the chart. So 12th house is our secrets. Like what is the secret? Whereas the moon is how we keep secrets. What is the secret?
Interesting. Okay, so just out of, because I just want to dig into more. That's my ego speaking. That's that whole Scorpio.
And you have a stellium in Scorpio.
What does that mean?
So that's when you have 3 or more planets in a certain sign.
What does that give me?
It's like a super Scorpio.
Oh, I'm a super Scorpio. Y'all better watch out. I'm a super Scorpio. You're a super Scorpio.
The community needs to watch out because they never know what they're doing.
Don't say that too loud.
Embrace it.
Okay, tell me more. What about my love?
Your love life?
What house is that again?
You want to look at the 1st house, the 5th house, 7th and 8th. The reason why you want to look at the 1st house is because if somebody has personal planets in your 1st house, that's going to be your friend, your homie. Okay. You guys are going to understand each other, okay? The 5th house is a house of pleasure. That's how you guys are going to have fun together. When there's planets in the 5th house of your significant other, that's a fun, good time. 7th house is the actual partnership itself. And the 8th house is the contract.
So do you have to do synergy a chart to know that, or can I just know that because I'm okay, let me ask it like this. Why am I attracted to Cancers? Does my birth tell me why?
Yes, because you have Cancer in the 8th house, which deals with contracts. It would make sense if you married a Cancer. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a Cancer sun, but somebody with a strong Cancer placement in your 8th house, oh, that's marriage. That's like soul ties. That's like that, those legalities. 8th house is legalities for sure.
I like that because I'm all about contracts and agreements.
So for you, you're going to be attracted to, like, the Sag is going to be your friend. The Taurus is the person you're going to love to date. The Gemini is relationships. Good time. And then that Cancer energy for you is like, let's get married. That's that contract.
Is that why I married a damn Cancer?
Did he have a Gemini too?
Can you explain the Aries? Why did I marry an Aries?
Because you felt at home with them. You have Aries in your 4th house. So somebody with Aries placements. So like here, let me go back to my screen. So here, 4th house rules the home. You have Aries here, so that makes sense. That's like the homeboy, the homebody.
I guess that's exactly what I got, right? From that situation. That's so interesting how those correlate and how it makes sense. Like you're attracted to this because they possess these type of energies that are gonna fit in with this type of energy with you. What about you? What is your love sign?
What are mine? So I'm a Pisces rising, so anybody who has strong Pisces placements, they're going to be an immediate friend to me.
I like Pisces too, though, sister. What does that mean?
I'm sorry. What is
I
Pisces
like
for
Pisces.
you?
Like Pisces. Pisces are the ones that just do it for me. Outside of Cancer,
Well,
Sun.
remember how I said the third house can represent siblings?
Yeah.
You have Pisces energy in the third house. So it could be
Mm.
your siblings, it could be a child.
I
Would you
have two
Yeah,
Pisces children, but
exactly.
Pisces men, like I'm really like attracted to Pisces men. I think I know what their characteristics are. I've learned that, and I see why, but it's just weird that why. I don't know. I mean, I know what I like in them, but I don't know why.
For Pisces.
Yes.
Okay, so if I go based off of whole signs for you, you are able to communicate with Pisces. You have that third house energy in Pisces. Okay,
Mhm.
so third house represents communication as well. So it's almost like your Mercury sign. Third house is communication, where we communicate.
All
Okay,
right.
so you
I can.
communicate with Pisces well naturally, even though you don't have any planets in Pisces. Just the fact that you have that third house energy in Pisces, you communicate with them.
Very
So
well. Interesting.
So you also have right in the middle of your third and fourth house is Pisces and Aries. So you feel like you can communicate with the Pisces, but you're right at home with an Aries. Okay.
Interesting.
You
Makes a
have
lot of
Taurus, and yeah.
So, sister, we have a question here. How can this information be used to help decide and achieve goals?
I would look at the sixth house, depending on what the goal is. Um, the sixth house represents your routine and how you should achieve a goal. The planet of Saturn is going to tell you a lesson, so that might tell you what your goal is. It really depends on what the goal is. Can we get more specific? What kind of goal?
Let's say the goal of being leveling up.
Leveling up. Okay, so I would look at what you value, and I can
Well,
look
how
at the second house to see what you value, and I can also look at the planet Venus of what the value. So, say this person on the screen I have right here, their Venus is in. Where's their Venus? Where's their Venus? Their Venus is in the first house. This person values themselves.
oh, I was right. That is Venus on the V. I thought that was
No, it's right underneath the moon. Let me zoom in. So you got the moon and Venus here, right here. This is Venus. So Venus in Aries is very selfish about themselves, especially being in the first house. So if it doesn't pertain to them, they don't really care about it. So I'd say for a goal for them, maybe not be so selfish. I also look at the second house to see what they value. And then I'm also going to look at Mars. Now I see Mars is in Sagittarius. So this is fiery. This person gets things done. Mind you, this is also the chart of a celebrity. This person don't play. If it ain't about them, it's not happening. If it's
Is
not
this
gonna
a celebrity that I know it of?
I'm sorry?
It's a celebrity that I know of.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Because I can say that's exactly what we see, right? It's like go get her, doesn't
The
take
ninth,
no for an answer, all about her.
right. I also have to say that the ninth house represents the higher learning in your education. You learn things to get the job. This person, when they put their drive and their action together with what they love, putting money towards themselves, that's going to level them up.
Hold on, what was that? The ninth house?
So
Yeah,
they have right here.
what is that?
Right,
Like
this is Mars.
that's Mars.
Hmm. In a fire sign.
This is really complex. So I don't feel like an individual could really just do it themselves.
Absolutely not. There's so much to learn. If an individual wanted to begin learning how to read astrology, I would say start learning the signs and their elements. If you don't know that Gemini is an air sign, you need to know what that means. Okay. What do you say?
What does that mean that a Gemini is an air sign?
So air signs, let's go start with Gemini. It's a mutable sign. It can go different ways. Hey niece. My niece is on. Okay. Air signs. It's open-minded. So you have Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. They're the thinkers. Okay. You have your water signs, Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. Those are the feelers. Okay. Then you got the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sag. That fire. They get things done. They're very passionate. Air signs love fire signs. Air and fire just go together. And then you have your earth signs, which goes really well with water. Your earth signs are Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. Now they get things done too. You might not like how they do it, but they get things done.
So wouldn't that be my compatibility? Would that be compatible to those?
So your compatibility as a Scorpio woman, you would be best off just naturally based off the elements with the Taurus. Remember that was your dating house.
Right.
Capricorn would be interesting too. And then a Virgo.
Hold on, why a cap again? Why a cap again? I didn't hear you say.
Just because earth and water flow together.
Okay. So that's like the basis. The basis is knowing basically what you're compatible with if you just want to. So that would be a good solution.
Yeah. I just say make it make sense. Okay. So we can like step away from the birth chart altogether for a quick second. Just make it make sense. Air and fire, air needs fire. Fire cannot breathe without air, and water is meant to be on the land.
Right.
Okay. Now you put two air signs together. I mean, air and air does go together, but sometimes that could be too much thinking for a household. Or sometimes fire signs, that could be too much fire for a household. We need to balance it out. I mean, blow some of this fire out the way. I can calm that down. And the earth just hugs water. It knows how to keep it calm, the water still. Okay. So the flying Leos. Leos. Let's start with what they rule. That Leo energy rules the heart. They're the lion ruled by the sun. I hate to feed into the Leo's ego, but they're the sun. Without the sun, we are nothing.
Oh, so they are the rulers.
They really are. They
the first in the zodiac sign?
I'm sorry?
Are they the first in the zodiac sign?
No, that would go to Aries.
Oh,
if you want to learn astrology, start learning the zodiac in order. And that's a whole other topic too. So it goes Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's the oldest and the wisest.
They're the oldest and the wisest?
Oldest and the wisest. Whereas Aries is the first and it's the baby. That's why it just does things fiery. It's a little toddler. Just don't know how to act, wanting to do everything, loves on everybody, moves so fast. Like,
that makes sense.
Aries energy is crazy. And it's fire too. Shout out to my bestie who taught me everything. She's an Aries. That air and fire combo.
I love it. I love it. How do you use this spiritually?
If I'm feeling a certain type of way, I'm like, what's going on? Why am I feeling this kind of way? I go see what sign the moon is in. Right now, the moon is in Pisces. So if anybody's feeling tired today, just exhausted, just done, the moon is in Pisces. They're feeling pretty because Pisces is very pretty and beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Pisces. Like, they're just so dapper.
But I'm like, if I'm ever wondering, why am I feeling this way? I go check to see where the moon is.
Okay, why am I feeling this way?
What are you feeling? The moon is in Pisces right now. But I also want to say, like, spiritually,
the reason why I call
it what time of year it is. So Aries being the first of the zodiac, is spring. Okay.
Right.
People want to, well, depending on who you're talking to, believe that January 1st is New Year's. To me,
I don't.
spiritually, January 1st is not New Year's. New Year's is when the sun enters Aries. When the
Right.
new beginnings and the new births in the
Oh,
spring, everybody's being born. Spiritually, to me,
right.
when the sun is in Aries, spring equinox. There might be
Right.
a few days off between the first day of Aries season, because the first day of Aries season is March 21st, where it just kind of depends on the degree. Sometimes it's a little off.
Right.
But yeah. Let me see what else spiritually. I would say that's where I would start understanding spiritually how the astrology can work for us.
I
Knowing what
love
time it is. Huh? Just knowing
love
what time it is. And knowing that right now in spring, it's times for new beginnings and births.
we're still
You
in
want to
spring.
start
So
something?
spring doesn't end until technically the 21st, right?
I'm sorry?
Spring doesn't end until the 21st, correct? Or the 20th?
Spring ends when the summer equinox begins, which is June 21st.
That's what I thought.
Is that the right word? No, it's not the summer solstice. My bad.
Do you know how old astrology is?
Beginning of time, but there's different types of astrology. So the astrology I showed you today is Western astrology. There's also Vedic astrology, which is older. The beginning of time. That's how we told time, by looking at the stars and the moon.
Right. I'm happy you said that, because that's where I would say that it started at, is at the beginning of time as well, because that's the way that they told the time and the dates and the day that we're currently in is through the moon. I know. Do you know of any ancient African practices or that use astrology or tribes or
I don't.
really? So the Dogon tribe of Mali,
Makes sense.
they were one of the first that knew about the planets and their alignments before they were written, supposedly. Not supposedly, but this is what they claim. Um, they believe that they actually pointed out Sirius, Sirius
This,
C, I believe,
okay.
before anybody. They were like, it was just everybody was be wondered how they knew this information that was modern information, but they had been holding this information for a while. Little bit, they said that the aliens came down and gave them the information, which I believe because I'm there. But yeah, so it does even go back to Africa.
I
Um,
wholeheartedly believe that.
the Arabic calendar is based on astrology.
The,
Um,
the lunar calendar,
yeah,
because the lunar calendar is astrology, and I love that.
I would assume that's the calendar that they went off of or that they created was the lunar calendar.
So
I know
yeah,
that is the Arabic calendar.
okay, that makes sense.
It goes really according to when the sightings of the moon and the placements of the stars, obviously. I mean,
Right.
astrology.
So
And it's a little bit different. It almost goes according to our astrology chart
yes,
and how the months break up at the 21st.
and
Um,
I forgot to say this, but the 12 zodiacs can kind of represent the 12 months of the year, even though there should
oh,
only be 10. But that's a whole nother story. They added, um, or should I say, it's only supposed to be 9. They added 3 months in there. It's supposed to stop in December. They added January, February, and maybe March.
I think they're named after somebody too.
Because I know October is 8, November is 9, December is 10. Yeah, there's only supposed to be 10 months of the year. But
Interesting.
that's another topic.
Why do you think they changed it? Why do you think they made it longer? I mean, I know that these months.
I don't know which Roman, Egypt, Greek, whatever calendar that we are on today, when they made January 1st, that was some king's birthday, and he wanted everybody to celebrate his birthday on January 1st. And I'm still learning that story, but
When you learn it, come back and tell us,
we've been
because
lied.
that's ludicrous. I wanted to ask you, sister, what you felt about books like this and books like this. This one is 1001 Spells, and this one is Afua Sacred Woman.
Every melanated woman needs that book.
The Sacred Woman. Why?
It's like our Bible.
Huh?
Start there. If you want to learn anything about who we are, start there. That book is an encyclopedia, a way of life. I think I have to give Queen Afua credit. That book, along with a couple other entities, is what started my spiritual journey, my thirst for knowledge. That book was the gateway. Yes.
Why? Why? What did it teach you?
What did it teach me? It still is teaching me, but just about who I am. And I'm still trying to unlearn all the things that I've been taught as a child. I've been heavily indoctrinated.
Like,
even to my lock sister, you know, like I have so much unlearning I've done, and just embracing my natural femininity.
tell us.
Where do I start?
Tell us how you shed the doctrine, or how you're shedding it, how you're moving past that in which you were taught.
It started with this. When I was in my last relationship, I was like, what the heck am I going to teach my children? Because I knew it wasn't that. Raised in a Christian church, even in church as a kid, I was like, this didn't feel right. I was not the kid clapping my hands, singing the songs. It just never resonated with me. I always wanted to know why. I was like, why is my entire family feeling this and I'm not? And that would drive me crazy, because I was like, I've got to figure out what I'm going to teach my children. And that's what created my thirst for this knowledge.
So what didn't you agree with in your teachings? Because I think that while some of it is a little obscure, a lot of the Christian teachings give us balance and give us foundation. What was it that didn't resonate with you?
I just didn't feel it in here the way everybody else was. I didn't have that thirst. I wasn't excited like people were. I didn't have that feeling. I'm very emotional, feeling based. Like if it doesn't feel right, I'm not doing it. And I was just like, I like a good story. You know, as a little kid, I love a good Bible story, magic, ooh, you know, love that part.
Magic, ooh. That's so funny. Hold on, let me stop you. A lot of people don't even realize that there is magic going on in the Bible.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at it for what it is. Read the words for exactly what they are.
Yes. As a little kid, I loved learning about Egyptian, what I thought was Egyptian mythology and Greek mythology. I love those stories. I think most kids love a good story, especially when it comes to magic. But I was like, something about the church, all I can say is it just didn't resonate. I was like, I don't feel what y'all are feeling. And I just always felt like it had to be something else, because I just felt so numb.
Right. Something more. Your heart was calling for something more.
I just didn't know. And I'm still searching, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would say that's what started my journey.
Which is beautiful. Congratulations for even taking the step. Because I think the hardest part is taking the step away from in which you've been taught. Because it's the scariest. I was just talking to our executive producer today. It's so hard to not stay in the social norms. It's so hard to just want to be different. Because then you have a target on your back. You get messages from family members that tell you to stop practicing X, Y, and Z when
I definitely got caught up.
Not even have an understanding.
Right. I don't like feeling like the odd man out. I want to be normal just like everybody else. But when it comes to how I was feeling, I was like, I've got to figure this out.
Facts.
Even like right now, like I told a friend the other day, I was like, I want to unlearn everything my mother has taught me. And that's like a bold statement to say, but that's my truth.
You came from a affluent background. So that's really weird to hear, that you want to unlearn the things that you've learned when
All of it. I want to be the exact opposite.
interesting. Well, anything else? Give us some advice before we end. What what can you give us that's going to help us be better tomorrow?
Be the energy you want to attract.
Why do you say that to me every day?
Because it's the truth. That's how we heal. Be the energy you want to attract.
Okay. Be the energy that you want to attract. That means that if I want love in my life, or if I want people to treat me with tact, I need to lead with tact.
If you want people to be direct with you, be direct with them. If you want people to be caring and loving towards you, be caring and loving towards them, especially to your community.
Because my community is what needs me. Okay.
Exactly.
I love you, sister. I appreciate you being here. Please come back if you would like. Anytime. This space is yours, as I say. I'm happy to hear a little bit of your story, our story, share it with the world. A lot of people don't know that I have a little baby sister. She ain't no baby no more.
I think
She a
it's funny
grown
that
woman.
my niece said I didn't talk about Leos enough when I literally put them on a pedestal.
Fact, she said that they were the sun. They're running
Yeah.
stuff. And we don't need to say no more. She said she didn't want to blow up your head, Leos. All right, I love you. I'm going to put you in the green room so I can close this out. I love you. Woo! Astrology. So we learned about the planets. We learned about our placements. We learned about the houses. I think the houses was what was most important to learn. Just knowing how to read our birth charts. Remember that my sister is available for services. We didn't even talk about the fact that she does Reiki. And I also became a Reiki practitioner as well. So if you guys need energy healing and energy clearing, let us know. We love you. This was episode 11. We got 3 more episodes before we're done with this season. So I am super blessed. Thank you to the Conduit. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this network to show my worth. And we'll see you next week.
My soul sisters, no matter